just shows your dedication, and that's definitely characteristic of someone that's going to go far in anything that they do. So shout out to you, bro.
The best platform I've ever been in my whole life. It is absolutely the best. And the people behind it are just so cool.
Like attracts
Yeah.
like, bro.
I
Like
mean,
attracts
I've
like.
never seen anything so amazing as this. This is really, really good. You guys I see this every day and I get so surprised. Like, wow, these guys are really out there to help us. Really are out there to help us. Man, we used to dig holes for days before we even get anything. I got my first $50 today. Boy, straight out. That's too good.
Well, it's about to get even juicier too. So I love it. You're about to
Oh,
be
good.
super excited. It's like you're already just just freaking. I love the energy. It's so awesome. You're definitely the pioneer of Australia and New Zealand. So it's gonna be awesome to see you
Absolutely, brother.
sharing your story. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, bro, for sharing your excitement. Alrighty, well,
Thank you.
everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're streaming live now. We're here in Dubai and we're streaming on here comes Barbara. So Zoom call on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. So shout out to all you guys out here watching this. We're super excited, just like we are every single day. And as you can tell at the very beginning of this Zoom call, our partners, Mr. Tui out of Australia, he's super excited, and we're just barely even hitting the tip of the iceberg. So I'm excited to share this information with you all. My name is Sam Hidge. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer here at Divinfi, and I'm super honored and privileged to be able to share this with you all. It's really been a journey to get to this point, a journey in my life, and then a journey within the community, and then really getting things in a solid platform so we can really create an ecosystem for freedom for the everyday person like you and I. And so I'm really, really excited to be here and to share this information. And, it was only like, it was about 12 years ago when I first got introduced to this industry, and I had so many amazing mentors since then. But one of my first mentors, he told me that, Sam, there's not really much different between you and I. And this guy, I mean, he was probably like 45. He had been in the industry for 20 years. And he's living in a multi-million dollar home in Dallas. He's driving all the most badass cars. He's like living that lifestyle. Like he was that guy. And a lot of people looked up to him. And he's like, there's not much different between you and I, Sam. And I said, well, that's easy for you to say. And he said, the only difference is that I got myself around the right people and the right information. And he said that information has the ability to change your situation. And so at that point, I pulled out my notebook and I started to take notes because everything that was coming out of this guy's mouth was absolute gold. And I just started to really surround myself around the right information that could truly change my situation. And I believe, not that I believe, actually, I know that the information that you're going to get out of this call, even if you don't join this community, could shift for you in a drastic way. So I'm excited to share this with you and just pass on the knowledge that I've been instilled with over the last 12 years. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Kind of skipping ahead of myself. So let's get to the very beginning of this. Okay, cool. So I want to welcome you all to Divinfi, your freedom ecosystem. And so this is the biggest launch in history. And I don't just say that, I know that for a fact. And if you were at the very beginning of this call and you heard Tui, he said this is the best platform that he's ever been a part of. And this is the best platform that I've personally been a part of. And I've been a part of a few deals and made a lot of money in those deals. But this is just got me so excited. I'm barely sleeping. I went to bed at 6 a.m. yesterday, and we're just knocking these calls out. We're talking to people every single day just because it really is something that's going to change people's lives forever. But before I get into the info to make sure that the lawyers are happy, I need to read you guys a risk disclosure. So, because we are going to be talking about investing, past performance is not indicative of future results. Diversification does not eliminate the risk of loss, and the information provided is reliable, but it is not guaranteed, and it is for information purposes only. It is not investment advice. And so you're an adult. You can choose where you want to invest your money. No one has a gun to your head. And the other thing you want to really realize is that no matter how well something is done in the past, doesn't necessarily guarantee anything, of it doing the same results in the future. So just know that. So our vision here at Divinfi is to create an ecosystem that brings freedom to 8 billion people, the whole earth. So that's really restructuring the entire systems, financial, emotional, the whole, like everything, the entire way that we operate and interact with our everyday life. And so we want to help people have financial, time, location, and most importantly, the emotional freedom to do so. So a little bit about us, like I mentioned earlier, we're based in Dubai. And the reason why we chose Dubai is because the leadership here really allows us to thrive and to be able to expand, push the envelope on what's possible. And so a lot of you know about Dubai and how thriving of an economy it is, and all of these influencers and billionaires and millionaires all coming here. It's because they allow people to be innovative, not mentioning the tax-free economy, which is absolutely amazing. But they allow people like us here at Divinfi to do something different, right? Like this is not been done before. What we're doing here, it's never been done. And so we're really on the leading edge of things. And because we're based here, they allow us to really be in that creative state and to try different things. There's not a lot of limitations like there would be in America or Canada. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about our products. We have a few products. And so the first product is called Income Versity. And so this is exactly what you and I should have learned in school, but we weren't taught these things. We were taught, I don't know, cell biology and hypotenuse and the Pythagorean theorem, which, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't really use any of that, especially when it comes to finances, right? Like here at Incomeversity, we want to take all of our knowledge and experience and put them in a library for people to learn the wealth secrets that the rich teach that they don't want you to know, right? And so it's really helping people break the cycle of JOBs, jobs, which really just stands for just over broke, right? Working from paycheck to paycheck, having way too much month at the end of the money, right? I've been there, done that. Not a fun ride. And so we want to help you get from these JOBs to being able to be in a system where you can create infinite income. So we have our Money Mondays, Wealthy Wednesdays, and Financial Fridays. So we're going to shift the time from 8 p.m. Dubai time to 7 a.m. Dubai time to accommodate all the people that are in the United States and Canada, because that's where the majority of our partners are right now. But they also will be in our library in the back office where you can access them at any time and review them over and over and over again. Absolutely amazing information, whether it's how to build how to become a network marketing professional, the quadrants of finances, the different quadrants on how you can create an income, how to become tax free, right? Like all of these things that they never taught us, but are extremely, extremely important. And so this is such an amazing product. I wish I had this at the beginning of my career 12 years ago, but this is a part of the journey. So that's our first product. Now, our second product is called the Divinfi Bank app. So this is a banking application where you're able to spend and send both your cryptocurrencies, the top 45 cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, all these different cryptocurrencies, and also your fiat currencies like the US dollar, like the pound, like the euro, so on and so forth. So what's really cool about it is that you get an international bank card, and this bank card is both virtual and physical. So you can spend it anywhere that accepts Visa, which is basically anywhere that has a credit card processor, right? So it's really, really cool. You can, like I said, you can spend both your crypto and your fiat. And the cool thing about this is that it's not only for the US and Canada, like the crypto.coms and the CoinZooms, they only issue cards to those two countries. We actually have licenses that allow us to issue cards worldwide. So it doesn't matter if you're in Brazil, if you're in Singapore, if you're in Zimbabwe. We have the ability to issue cards anywhere in the world, except there's a couple exceptions, like the North Koreas, the Irans, uh, the Russia, the sanctioned countries. That's the only places we can actually issue cards. So other than that, you're good. Now here are licenses that I just mentioned. If you care about them, there you go. You can take a picture, look them up yourself. But yeah. Now our next product is called the Divinfi Swiss Fund. And so this is a hedge fund from Switzerland. A hedge fund is just it's a fancy way of saying like it's an entity that can take investment because they're licensed and they can actually give you a return on that investment. And so these guys actually manage billions with a B, billions of dollars in capital, and they've been trading for quite a while. And so I'll show you some of the results here in just a moment. In the last 4 years, they've been able to do about 500% return. So that's a little bit over 100% return per year. Absolutely amazing, especially when you take into consideration where the state of the world is, and specifically the United States, which is where every single other currency is actually tied to the US dollar, right? So the US dollar is losing about 1% in purchasing power every single month, which is crazy to think about, right? Like literally from June 2023 to June 2024, the purchasing power has gone down 12%. It's gone down 12%. So what you could purchase last year compared to this year is 12% less. So having your money in a savings account is probably the worst thing that you could be doing right now. So what's the solution? The solution is to have your money compounding for you, working for you. If not minimum, if it's not multiplying, at least doing 1% a month, so you're offsetting that inflation, right? So it's safe to say that this specific hedge fund is doing a lot more than 1% a month, which is awesome. And so I'll tell you how they are able to create these gains. So they have a hybrid advantage. So it combines technology and human expertise, so you get the best results. And so they use 40% algorithms, 40% manual trading, and then 20% AI, artificial intelligence. And so here's the monthly report statement for this Swiss fund. So since January 2020, they've done 499%, 0.56%, and so a little bit over 100% a year. And in April 2024, they did 5.22%, which is absolutely amazing. And we still need to update for May and then June, so we'll do that here in the next couple of days, but very awesome. Now, the cool thing about this is that if you wanted to go directly to the Swiss fund, you would have to come with a minimum of $200,000. Minimum 200,000. In fact, before we talked them down, it was a minimum of 1.2 million. 1.2 million is the minimum that they would have been able to trade, but we talked to them and we said, hey, we'll put up to 200,000 and we'll actually be bringing a lot more partners into it. So they agreed. And so we became the bridge essentially between them, the institutional level traders, and the retail investor, meaning you and I. And so this allows you to actually get the real legitimate investors for you, the real the real legitimate traders trading for you rather than Bob in his mom's basement, right? Because most of the time, and I know this firsthand because I had been in the industry for a little bit, most of the time you have people that are claiming to be traders. They've been trading for a few months, maybe a couple of years, but they're not really actually getting the same gains. And even if they are, for example, their drawdown and how much they're risking is way too high for what they're getting. And so we actually just wanted to connect you with the real legitimate traders. These guys are managing billions. So you get the best of the best whenever you get into this ecosystem. And I'll talk about some of our other products here in just a minute. So next products. We do have our own broker. I'm not going to talk about that right now. I'm going to go into the crypto fund. So the crypto fund is similar to the Swiss fund. The Swiss fund actually trades futures. Doesn't really matter to you. Just got to know that you're going to be multiplying your money hands-free. Same thing here with the crypto fund, except he's trading crypto and you just invest into it and you're able to actually get a return on your money. And so Josh has actually been trading since the age of 18, but he really got serious at 21. And at 21 years of age, he took his last $20,000 and he planted them in certain crypto projects in the AI and the gaming space. And so what happened was Josh found some really good projects that had real use case scenarios. And in a couple of months after he put his money into it, he actually went from 20,000 US to making over $1 million in that time. And so since then, he's been taking on many large accounts from different people. And so he ended up actually creating a friends and family fund. And he came to Divinfi. He's like, hey, I'm opening it up. I'm going to do exactly what I did in 2020. This was back in December 2023. He asked for a minimum of 50,000. We ended up giving him 150,000. And to say the least, he's more than doubled the account since then. He's up over 110 to 120%. And he's talking about doing about 500 to 1,000% by the end of the year. So it's absolutely amazing. So for example, $100,000 account at 500%, that's $500,000. 1,000%, that's over $1 million. And that's on the conservative side because in 2020, he did over 8,000% return. So we anticipate him to do a lot more, but he's just on the conservative side, he's saying 500 to 1,000%. And the way he's able to get these gains is he's not day trading. I mean, he's not buying and selling them constantly. He'll buy certain coins, like I said, with real life use case scenarios, and he'll hold them until the bull run actually goes to the very top of the market, and then he'll sell them off. So right now, the crypto fund will be closing once it hits $80,000, once the Bitcoin hits 80,000. So if you're not in that, definitely get into that. If you need help getting access to that, I can drop the link to the contract. You could sign it, send it off to support, and we can get you into that fund ASAP. Now, the next product slash program is a program created by Mr. Don Smith. So Don's worked with the elite of the elite in several different industries. I'm talking billionaires. I'm talking Olympic athletes in 15 different sports. I'm talking huge corporations, similar to the BlackBerry Corporation, the company that created the BlackBerry, which is actually called Research in Motion. If you haven't watched, there's a movie called BlackBerry. It's on, I believe, YouTube. Really, really good movie. It's talking about how, the ups and downs of BlackBerry. And actually, I forgot what the book is called, but there's a book that the co-CEO wrote, and he actually mentions Don in that book. I'll get that title for you here in just a little bit. And so Don worked with them, and he was able to use his process as a transformational process. And essentially, without me giving you too much, because it's something you just need to experience, he helps you release the very first quote unquote trauma that you've ever experienced, which happened before the age of 7. Actually, it can go all the way back to whenever you're in your mother's womb. Okay. So from the womb all the way to the age of 7, your subconscious mind is wide open, and every single thing that you experience becomes a program, And the subconscious mind, without me going too deep into it, is actually inside of the body on a neurocellular level. So that's why, personally, for me, even though I did all of the personal development, like reading thousands of books and doing the audio tapes, going to seminars and workshops and leadership seminars and energy work and breath work and plant medicine and all of these different things, I was still self sabotaging. Even after earning millions and millions of dollars, I was still self-sabotaging myself, whether in my businesses, whether in my relationships, whether in my health, whatever it was, I still found a way to ruin it all for myself. And maybe you can relate. When things get too good, you find a way to back yourself up into a corner, right? And you try to have to get rid of it and you got to do it all over again. And I thought that it was just because I was it was a part of the cycle. Yeah, it was a cycle, but it's not part of the process. And so it's a pattern of self-sabotage. And so doing this process with Don, he was able to help me break free of this toxic cycle, which most people, let's say 99.999% of people have. And so just to give you a little story of what happened to me before meeting Dawn, I had been an entrepreneur for 12 years. I shifted from this industry of network marketing into the traditional model of rental arbitrage. I had 18 units, and we were making pretty good money. I was traveling the world. I was all over Southeast Asia. I went to Japan, Malaysia, Indonesia, um, Thailand, all over Thailand. And I hadn't even worked for over 7 months, like probably only a couple of hours. And so even though things were going really, really well, and people wouldn't be able to tell, I was having anxiety every single day, depression. I was having panic attacks. I was going through a divorce. And then I actually ended up becoming extremely suicidal because I didn't know what to do. And I remember being on the 48th story of this penthouse in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And for the first time in my life, the very first time, because I've always been a very optimistic person, I'm sitting on the top of this 48th floor and I'm contemplating suicide, which is just crazy to even say now because it's like, what was I even thinking? But it got to that point. The toxic cycle got to that point. And so a lot of times humans are motivated by two things: inspiration or desperation. And I was desperate. Even though financially I was doing well, emotionally I wasn't. And so I was extremely desperate. And I ended up going and traveling all the way to the Philippines and meeting this guy, Don Smith. And I did a session with him and he helped me release whatever it was that was holding me back in this toxic cycle of addictions and depression and self-sabotage. I was actually addicted to several substances, including marijuana, sex, travel, money, people pleasing, validation, all of these things that had a grip on my life, which is just another way of saying the ego, right? I'm not going to go too deep into that. That's something that you have to experience. But after doing that session with him, like I've been high on life. Like I don't use any kind of substances. I'm completely sober. I am just fulfilled every single day by what I do and by serving people like you and just sharing the gift of what we've been able to create here at Divinfi. And so I'm super excited for you to experience that if you haven't. And we'll actually have a session tomorrow if this is your first time. So I'll talk a little bit about that here in a couple of minutes. But to give you an overview of what happens in this session, and that's why we created Divinfi, is we wanted to help people have both the money, the currency, and then also the consciousness, because one without the other is absolutely not, it's not how we're supposed to live, right? So this chart is out of a book called Power versus Force that was written by a man named Dr. David Robert Hawkins. And so Dr. Hawkins says that every single emotion is on a level of consciousness slash frequency. Okay. So it's not to say that one is better than the other. It's really just all of this is just a part of the whole. But whenever you go higher and higher up into the levels of consciousness, you can see clearer. There's more clarity. Okay, so just so you know, and essentially enlightenment is your and my natural state. Okay, and to give you a reference point, when you look at this level right here, grief, which is a 75 consciousness, this is where Hitler is or was. Now, enlightenment right here is where Jesus, Muhammad, and Buddha, that's where they all were. Now, over 80% of the world's population is under the level of 210. And where integrity and where truth lies is over the level of 200. So over 80% of the world is out of integrity, which is exactly why there's all these wars and crimes and murder and stealing and all of these things. It's because of the level of consciousness. It's not an outer thing, it's an inner thing. And so what Dawn is able to do is to help you realize and to release what it is that's holding you in these lower levels of consciousness. Because like I said, the highest level is enlightenment, at least on this scale. There's a chart above the chart, but on this scale, the highest level is enlightenment, and that's your natural state. So anything under here is because of something that's holding you down. Okay, it's on a neurocellular level. So for me, at the time, I was on the level of desire, 125 on a good day, which is why I had all the addictions, right? And so that's why I was very, very ambitious because I desired so many, many things, but I was still in such a havoc. And so after doing Don's process, he allowed me to let go of whatever that was holding me and anchoring me in these lower levels of consciousness and allowing me to raise my consciousness into these higher levels. And so I'm really excited for you to stop playing into your self-sabotaging, your victim, your poverty, and your toxic patterns, and to stop playing small because the truth is it doesn't serve you and it doesn't serve the world. You deserve to live and to play and to be at the levels of your natural state because when you're there, guess what? You actually offset over 70 million people under the consciousness level of 200. So this is how we can actually make an impact in the world. This is how there's 26 wars that are happening right now around the world. This is how we dissolve it, is by having people come back into their natural state and we start to shift the consciousness of the entire world. So that's a little overview of what Dawn does. And so if you haven't done the process, it's one of those things that you just have to experience for yourself and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So the next product, which is coming very, very soon, is called the AI crypto trading software. And so this product right here is going to be available for everybody that's in the membership. Essentially what it is, it's an AI that uses deep learning capabilities, so it gets better and better over time. And what happens is, so all you got to do is you deposit your money into the Binance account, which is it's completely safe. The software doesn't have access to it. And so it just trades every single day or every other day or whatever. And you basically make money hands-free. So just an AI that does 20 to 50% every single month. We actually were able to see, because the thing about this is that it's very hard to trust because there's so many AIs out there, quote unquote AIs. They're not really AIs. They're just an algorithm and they're not actually adapting to the markets because the market's always changing. But we met the guy that developed this here in Dubai, and he had been trading with this for the last couple of years, and we saw every single trade for the last couple of years. And so we were like, okay, like this looks legit, basically everything that he said made sense. And so in the last week, this AI has done 20% hands-free. So we're going to open this up. We wanted to test it first because we don't want to, open it up to the public until we actually have tested it ourselves, put our own money at risk. So based off of just the last week, it seems legit. We're probably going to give it another week or two just to make sure. And then we'll open it up to the rest of the community to able to use this AI. And so, let's see. This is the crypto fund. It's supposed to be animated and show you like the different levels that it was going up at, but it's not working right now. So move on. Now, this entire community, this entire ecosystem, we have the different financial products. We have Don's transformation. We have the informational educational products in Conversity. We have all of these different tools and products, and they're all centered around community. They're all centered around the ecosystem and also around the partnership program. So if you've never been a part of a networking company, I'm going to give you a little bit of insight because I've been at this for a little bit over a decade. And it's one of those things that has completely shifted my life personally, because at the time when I got introduced to my first network marketing opportunity, I was actually in the car business and I was 18 at the time. I know that's such a young age, but I was it's so funny to even say like I'm only 30 right now, but I feel like I've been at this for a while. But I was 18 and I made my first six figures in the car exporting business. I was buying cars in the US, like just different cars, old cars, new cars, doesn't matter. And I was sending them to different markets in like Saudi Arabia and Dubai, the Dominican Republic, Cambodia, different countries in Africa, all of these places. And so, as amazing as it was financially, it was absolutely horrible when it came to having time for myself, for relationships, for my family. It was really bad on my health because I was working like so many hours a week, 80 hours a week. Sometimes I'd be driving on the road because I'd have to go to different dealerships and so on and so forth. And I'd be driving for like days, maybe with a couple of naps here and there, like staying at a hotel or even sleeping in the car or whatever. And I was like literally living off of Red Bulls and cigarettes, which is crazy. It's not really that great of a diet, right? So I was just losing all of the, like, I was making money, but I was losing the time, the location freedom, and the health. And it's funny because I was a health coach right before then for a little bit, and I completely gave that away. And so I ended up shifting into the into network marketing, right? By one of my mentors that I kind of mentioned earlier. And so he showed me the plan. I was a bit skeptical at first because I had never done anything like this. But then when I saw the ability to earn infinite income with having leverage, right? Not by being at my job or being in my business, but by duplicating my efforts through other people, that really that was the light bulb moment when things started to shift, right? And so the second thing was that I could earn income by doing the work one time, yet getting paid for that work over and over and over and over again. So, for example, your favorite artist, whoever that is, let's say it's Drake or Michael Jackson or whoever, they go to their studio one time, they record the song one time, they put it on iTunes one time. Yet every single time you and I purchase that song, they get paid for it over and over and over and over again. So that's an example of residual income. I'm going to show you how you can have that same leverage as your favorite artist without having to be, musically talented. Okay, now the third aspect of this partnership program is that there are no qualifications or experience needed. And I'm a perfect example for that because I wasn't the smartest in school. In fact, I mean, we didn't come from a wealthy family. I came to the United States at the age of 1.5 from Jordan. And I mean, we lived in a trailer that my dad paid $200 a month for. It had bullet holes inside of it. And my dad didn't teach me financial principles. He didn't teach me about credit cards. He didn't teach me about taxes. He didn't teach me about building businesses. He tried his best, but I didn't have those things instilled in me. I didn't do well in school. I slept 7 out of 8 periods out of every single day, right? So I was barely awake for that one. And then when I went to college, the only way I was actually able to stay awake was through using like I got put onto some Adderall, ADHD medication. I think it was Vyvanse. And I remember one day I was in college. It was my second year, and I was doing international business and marketing. That was my majors. And I asked my teacher that was teaching me business, I'm like, hey, like I asked her, like, the Vyvanse kind of had me not give a crap. But I asked her like, "Hey, miss, like, how much money do you make in your business?" And she said, "Oh, well, I make about like total with the teaching and with the business, I make about $50,000 a year." And I was like shook because I'm like, dude, like you're teaching me about business, but you make $50,000 a year, and I want to learn how to make $50,000 a month. And so one of the main concepts that I learned was, who do you listen to? Who do you listen to? If you take the advice of somebody, you're going to get their results. So I ended up actually just leaving that class. I walked out and I never went back to school. And in fact, actually, after that happened, because I come from an Arab household, my dad actually kicked me out of the house. And so I went homeless for 4 months. And I had started my business not that long, like right around that time. And so I'm homeless, living in my car, trying to build my business. And in fact, after being homeless for 4 months, I went from being homeless, living in my car, which is the two-toned Lexus, $225,000, 225,000 miles on it. It was rust and silver. That's the colors it was. And I ended up actually having my first $10,000 month. I got a brand new Mercedes. I also had a brand new BMW. And then I moved into a luxury apartment. And I'm not saying those things to tell you, oh, like, wow, look at me. I'm telling you that I was at the one of the lowest points of my life. And because I surrounded myself around the right people, the right information, and having the right system, I was able to completely change my life around. And so we have something I believe is the best of the best platform to help you completely shift everything to have financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom, and then with Don's process, the emotional freedom. And so that's, that's, if I could do it, then you can as well. And the last aspect is that there are team building incentives here. So you're in business for yourself, but you're not in business by yourself. And so I'm going to tell you about a little bit about the bonuses here in just a little bit. We have some awesome bonuses and some promotions that are going on right now. And like I said, you're not just joining a company, you're joining a community that's here to help you achieve success and then also be empowered to step into your most infinite and authentic self. So we are in pre-launch right now. And when it comes to business, it's always about timing, timing, timing. And I'll give you an example. If you had invested in Apple stock before it became the number one company in the world today, valued at over $3 trillion, guess what? You'd be a multi millionaire. And that's the opportunity that you have right now. That's the opportunity you have right now with Divinfi. You're at the ground floor level with this ecosystem that is going to revolutionize the entire world. So a little bit about the different aspects of becoming an entrepreneur or an investor. There are 4 ways that you can earn income in the world. You can be an employee, so you trade your time for money. You work 8 hours, you get paid for 8 hours. You can be self-employed, where you have, for example, like myself, I was working, I had my business, it was the car business, and I'd have to actually be inside of the business. I didn't have a job, but I owned the job. The business owned me, right? And so I'd have to be there to earn income. I'd have to be on cars.com or Auto Trader looking for cars to purchase to send to my buyers overseas. And if I didn't get paid. Similar to if you have let's say, for example, a smoothie store. If you're not in your business, you're not going to make money. If you have a supplement store, if you're not there, you're not going to have money. Even if you have some employees, your business is not big enough to where you have systems to where you can actually leverage your time and energy. So there are two other ways that you can actually earn income. The third way is the big business model. So it's having a business that has systems and that allows you to have leverage. Okay, so it's an example, we all on this call have 24 hours in a day, right? If we take an example of Mr. Bill Gates, he has also 24 hours, and all of his 100,000 employees that he has in his system, they all have 24 hours in a day. But why is he a billionaire and why are they thousandaires? It is because he has a system that allows him to leverage their time and efforts. So Bill Gates does only have 24 hours. He has 100,000 employees times 24, which equals into 240,000 man hours. So that's what it means to have a big business, is to have a system where you can leverage other people's time and efforts, which gives you the time freedom, the location freedom, and even I would like to say the creative freedom for you to start expanding into different areas, right? And so the last way that you can earn income is by becoming an investor, which we kind of talked about here, where you're able to invest into our financial products and allow your money to work for you. Okay, so let's move on. So there are two types of people. There's the 95% of the world which utilizes active income, employees and the self-employed. Now there's the 5% which uses passive income, which is big businesses and investors. So as you look at these charts, there's obviously a clear difference. You see the people on the left, they're in traffic. The people on the right are on the beach enjoying their time. And actually, one of the biggest reasons why I became an entrepreneur was because I really hated commuting. I hated traffic. And little to say, basically the last almost 8 years, I've been almost completely time free. I lived in Hawaii, I've lived all over Asia, and now I'm living in Dubai. And I get paid not for the efforts that I put, but more so for the value I give. And so that's something that if I can instill into you, is become a person of value and consistently keep learning and applying them into your life and business, and you'll be generating income no matter where you go. And so we have a system that allows you to truly take back your time and your freedom. Let's get the money thing out of the way so you can focus on the things that are important, whether it's philanthropy or giving back or donating to places, your time and money and energy, whatever that might be for you. Let's get the money thing out of the way so you can focus on what's important. So a little bit about us that makes us different as far as the MLM world goes is that we have put our entire plan on the blockchain. Maybe that doesn't sound like English to you, maybe it sounds a little bit like Chinese, but to just give you an example, it allows us to have transparency, security, and fairness, and to kind of give you more insight. So if you've never done network marketing, no one, not even the owners, have the ability to change anything about the plan or the system. Or maybe you have done network marketing and this happened to you. Number one, like I said, it doesn't allow the owners to manipulate any of the data that is coming in. So your income is always safe. Your tracking and rewarding of your efforts is always going to be accurate. And we're also going to utilize smart contracts for automated payments. So as soon as you bring someone into the ecosystem, you'll get rewarded. And so this is going to ensure timely and accurate payments. We're not going to have all of these administrative staff, and it's also going to eliminate human error and fraud. And eventually, actually, our entire ecosystem, all of the staff are going to get fired. We're looking to fire ourselves. Like, I don't want to do the chief marketing officer stuff. Jamie doesn't want to be the CEO. We actually want to make it completely automated, where it's completely ran by AI. So everybody is just doing what's what they could do best, which is the human stuff, which is like being creative and connecting with people and doing all those things that are actually important. And so um, once again, it's secure and fair downline management. It's a permanent recording of downline relationships in the blockchain. So it ensures integrity and rightful rewards. If you build the ecosystem one time, you're actually going to keep getting paid for that. And nobody can actually shift whether or not you get paid. Like if you build this and then you want to go do something else, then you have the ability to do that, which is absolutely amazing. Now, some benefits, like I said, transparency, security, efficiency, integrity, and trust. So let's get to the fun stuff, okay? So, so if you've obviously everyone has heard about Facebook. Facebook, absolutely huge company now, worth millions and millions and billions of dollars. And so when we were first using Facebook, the way that they were building Facebook, I remember this because I remember leaving school, high school, and then I would get on Facebook and I would share this link with my friends. And we were like inviting people to use the platform, like, hey, you need to get on Facebook, blah, blah, all this stuff, right? So before that, it was MySpace. MySpace is no longer here. But Facebook, they did something different where they didn't promote it. They used word of mouth, right? They didn't put billboards or advertising. They allowed people like you and I to share it with everyone else. First, it started with the colleges, and then it kind of spread out over time. So the thing about Facebook is we built that network, but Mark Zuckerberg never paid us. He never paid us to help him build it. But now everyone that's in that network, that Facebook network, which is over 1 billion people, they start to, not everybody, but a lot of people, especially businesses, they use his products and services. So that's how he's able to generate income for the company. So with us, you get rewarded for helping us build that network. And it doesn't matter what business you're building, it's always about building a network of clients that are paying for a service or a product. And so what we do is whenever you build this network, we just share the rewards with you, right? We don't use billboards or commercials or any of that. We just use word of mouth marketing to share this opportunity, this ecosystem with other people. And then when people like you and I share it, we get paid. It's as simple as that. So to give you more context, there are two teams that you're building. So you have your left team and you have your right team. So the goal is to have a certain amount of clients. There's certain criteria that you need to hit for you to start hitting these, I guess you could say, raises. It's not really a raise because it's more leverage. But so if you take a look right here, you have your required team, you have your personally enrolled per leg. Leg just means team. You have your weekly payout, and then you have your monthly payout. Okay, very simple. So the goal to hit the first rank, which is called inviter, you need 2 on your left and 1 on your right, or 2 on your right and 1 on your left. It doesn't really matter. Okay. Now, what you need to do is you need to get to 1 person on your left and 1 person on your right that you personally enroll. So what does that mean? Let's say you get into the ecosystem, you use the products, you get excited about the products, you share that opportunity because you're excited, right? Just like you get excited about a movie or a dinner, you're going to share that with other people. We're social beings. We like to share what works for us. So let's say you share it with your mom, you share it with your dad, right? Because let me ask you a question. If you earn 20% hands-free by utilizing our AI crypto software, would you be excited? For sure. It's definitely a lot more exciting than watching Bad Boys 4 or by having a awesome dinner, right? And the fact is that you get paid while you don't get paid for sharing the movie and you don't get paid for sharing that dinner. Okay? So you get 20% hands-free on a crypto software. You share it with your mom, you share it with your dad. Amazing. 1 on your left, 1 on your right. And then let's say the person above you that enrolled you into the company, they're going to keep building. So let's say you're on my team. I put 1 person, one membership underneath you. You now have 3 total, which is 2 on your left, 1 on your right. You're going to get actually for each personally enrolled person that you bring in, you get paid $50 per enrollment. So because you brought in your mom and your dad, that's $100 one time. And then you're going to get a weekly bonus, a weekly payout of $25 per week. So just as long as they are using that membership, they are paying their membership, and you're going to get a payout of $25 a week, which is $100 a month. Absolutely awesome. Okay, now the next rank, it's called Connector 200, right? So what's going to happen is you still only have the one on your left, one on your right, your mom and your dad. They're going to get excited. They're going to use the products. They're going to be happy. And they're going to share it with their people because they want to get to Inviter. Make sense? So once they get there too, your mom gets two, your dad gets two, you'll have four on your left, four on your right. And then what's going to happen is you're going to get a rank bonus, right? So you're going to go, you're going to rank up and you're going to get to Connector 200. You're going to get paid $50 a week, which totals out to be $200 a month. Awesome. Not only that, we're going to reward you for hitting this rank by giving you a one-time bonus of $200 one time. So let's say you did this in your first week, right? You're getting paid the 200 monthly plus an extra 200 one-time bonus, which is a total of 400 on your Connector 200. And then you also get paid off of the Inviter rank, which is the $50 per person. So you're already at like at least minimum $500, and it's only been a week. Awesome. Next rank, Connector 500. They're going to do the same thing. The people that they bring in are going to want to get to their Inviter rank. And then eventually you have 10 memberships on your left, 10 on the right. And then you only brought those two, right? You only brought your mom and your dad. They're just doing what you did. Now, you get to $125 a week. That's $500 a month. And then we give you a $500 one-time bonus just for hitting that rank, which is absolutely amazing. That's at least minimum $1,000 here. And then let's say the 200 here. That's at least minimum 200. Plus, that's at least a minimum of $1,300. And let's say you did this in your first week, which I actually was able to do in my first week. Got to 500. That's $1,300 in just a week. Pretty awesome. Okay, so let's just talk about this. Let's take a moment. So if you wanted to create $500 in residual income, the traditional route, an example would be for you to go to the bank and get a mortgage for a house, which would be about a loan of $250,000. Your mortgage would be about $1,500 a month. Let's say you rent that out to someone for $2,000 a month. You're making a residual income, a passive income of $500 every single month. Pretty cool. But you have to leverage $250,000. What's easier, leveraging $250,000 a month? I mean, $250,000 from the bank, and then getting paid $500 a month. And that doesn't include whenever the toilet breaks at the house. That doesn't include whenever the roof breaks, right? Like whenever that kind of stuff happens, then you have to invest the money to repair it because the homeowner is the one that's actually responsible for that. So that goes 5-6 months worth of residual income. With this, all you got to do is refer year two and teach them how to get to, and then teach them how to get to, and then you're already at $500 per month. That's freaking insane. It's freaking insane. And that's why this is one of the most misunderstood, but yet the most amazing industries in the world, because it allows the average person to truly experience freedom. Now, next rank, I'm not going to spend too much time. 900, 2020. You only need those your mom and your dad on your left and right. $225 a week, $900 a month. Once you hit this rank, you get paid a $900 one-time bonus just for hitting that rank. That's minimum $1,800 just from this rank. Then you take the 500 here. That's what 2,300 plus another 200. That's $2,500. Let's say you do this in your first week. That's $2,500. $2,500 that you earn in your first week, or if it even took you a month. That's extra income for just referring people, just referring to this ecosystem. How amazing is that? freaking nuts. Okay, so next rank, networker 3K, 75 and 75. The only difference here is that instead of only having your one-on-one, you're going to need to refer two and two. So let's say you have your mom, your dad. Now you're going to refer your brother, your sister. Now you have two on your left, two on your right that you've personally enrolled. And then what happens is that you've now got into your weekly payout of $375 a week, which is $1,500 a month. Oh wait, actually, I already talked about this. So $1,500 a month, and then 40 on your left, 40 on your right. And then what happens is, and what you got to realize is that all you're doing is just teaching them how you got your first two. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to focus on is just how did you get your first two? Teach them how to do that and continue duplicating it until you get to this level. And then, so you're getting paid $1,500 for the monthly residual. Plus, when you hold this rank for 2 months, what's going to happen is we're going to give you a $1,500 one-time bonus just for doing it. An extra $1,500. Absolutely amazing. Same thing, networker 3K, 75 on your left, 75 on your right. You're getting paid $750 a week, $3,000 a month. Same thing, when you hold this for 2 months, we give you a $3,000 one-time bonus just for hitting it. Now, it continues to go up. Networker 5K, 200 on your left, 200 on your right. You get paid $1,250 per week. That's $5,000 a month with a one-time bonus of $5,000 just for hitting that rank. Pretty cool. 9,000, 15,000, 25, all the way to 100,000 on this page. And maybe you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed. Like, dude, I have never made that much money in my life. I don't know if I could do it. Or maybe you are making that kind of money, but you see how hard it is that you work for it. And you're like, I don't have enough time, Sam. I don't know if I could do this. So let me just give you a little example. So it was a couple of years ago. Well, it was more than a couple. It was like 7 years ago. And I was working with this girl. We were in another business. It was nowhere near as good as this, but it was exciting because it gave us the ability to build and have leverage. And so she was a waitress. Her name was Tiffany. She was 21. She was a waitress earning $2,000 or less, sometimes a lot less, because as a waitress it goes up and down. And I ended up showing this to her, and she knew that she needed to make a change in her life, so she ended up coming in. So she came into the business, and what ended up happening was she was very introverted, and she's like, I don't know if I could do this, Sam, but I trust you. I want to do this. And so I was like, look, Tiffany, all you got to do is just follow and utilize the system that we have in place. And so system, for all of you that have never heard this before, it stands for saving you some time, energy, and money. Saving you some time, energy, and money. So you just plug into these webinars, which we have twice a day minimum, and you allow us to explain this information to educate them. And then whenever they see the vision, then when they come in, guess who gets paid? You do, just like Tiffany. So what Tiffany did is she just started to invite people to the Zoom calls, to the daily Starbucks meetings. And from whenever she got started to about 3 months later, she hit over $15,000 in income. And she never did a single presentation until her 9th month in the business. Her 9th month. So all you got to do is plug into the system and invite people to view this information. That's all your job is. And so if Tiffany could do it, you could do it. In fact, not only did Tiffany do it, her mother, she was working a warehouse job. She ended up earning over $10,000, never did a single presentation for at least 9 months. Her uncle, who's working at Chase, barely came from Vietnam. He ended up also hitting over $10,000 in a single month. And all three of them were driving brand new white Mercedes that the company was paying for. So if they could do it, you watching this call can 100% do it. So moving on, 250,000, 500, 750,000, $1 million a month. Pretty exciting stuff. And then the last of the ranks are 2 million a month and then $4 million a month. I was looking at the list earlier. It was like I think yesterday, 2 days ago. The highest earner is making about $1 million a month. So we just 4x that 4x the highest income in the industry. So really infinite income. Even if you try to spend $4 million a month, it's gonna be pretty hard. But yeah, so what are you getting whenever you get started with us today? We have our membership. It is including of the Swiss fund, which we value at $200,000 because the minimum to start is 200,000, but you don't have to pay that. Now the crypto fund is minimum 550,000, and so you're obviously gonna get in for way cheaper. You're gonna get the international debit card for both the crypto and the fiat, which we value at 2,500 because it's international. You have the cryptocurrencies, you got the fiat currencies, you have a reward plan. You'll be able to actually earn income off of the card as well, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Then we got the AI crypto trading software, which is the minimum. The minimum is $100,000, so that's where we valued it at. We have Incomeversity, which the reason why it's 55,000 is we took a look at the cost of what it costs for an MBA. So an MBA in college stands for Major of Business Administration. Here, an MBA stands for a massive bank account. Okay, so and then we have Don's transformation, which some people have paid him up to $1 million, and a lot of people, several people, were paying him 125,000 just for a group session. So I mean, and I've experienced this personally. I paid him $15,000. It's to me, in my eyes, it's priceless. So we didn't even put a price on that. So the minimum total value on the membership is $407,500. But don't worry, you're not going to pay that much money. We made it affordable for the everyday person. All you have to pay is $149 startup one time, and then $99 a month. Absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. It was already inexpensive before, but we wanted to make it the lowest that we could go, where we could actually bring as much value as possible for the minimum investment for the everyday person. So, it's affordable for every single person. It doesn't matter what level you're playing at. If you're just getting started in your career or if you're a veteran in this, every single person can get started with it, and there's more than enough value for everybody. And so I understand that sometimes money is an issue, and for me, it definitely was an issue when I first got started in the industry. At the time, one of the first companies I built was about $600 plus tax, and so I only had $200 in my bank account. Okay, so I told my mentor, I'm like, dude, I want to start, but I just don't have the money. And so he had to give me some tough love. And this is what he said. He said, Sam, I understand that you don't have the money right now, but how long have you had that problem? I said, it's been a while. It's been a few months now. And so he said, if you want things to change in your life, you have to change. And also, the thinking that you are using has led you to this point. The thinking that you are using has led you to this point. And I said, damn, you're right, because I was using my thinking, and that's why I have only $200 in my bank account. And then he followed up with saying, if you want things to change, you need to stop using your own thinking and you need to borrow someone else's thinking that has the results that you want. And at the time, he was driving multiple exotic cars. He was only like 2 years older than me. He was driving multiple exotic cars, traveling on private jets, vacation wherever he wanted, whenever he wanted. And so I was like, yeah, okay, you're right. And so he's like, do you have anyone that you could borrow the money from? And at the time, I was dating a girl. And so I ended up calling her up. I'm like, hey, babe, like there's this Indian guy. He's showing me this plan. I want you to come check it out. I need to borrow some money, but just come check it out. She ended up driving like almost an hour just to meet me. And thank God she let me borrow the money, because if not, I wouldn't have gotten started that day. And so little to say, like a few days later, maybe 3 or 4 days later, I ended up making enough money through the business and paid her back, and the rest is history. So, and then there's so many other stories of people, whether there's a girl I remember, she went to Walmart, she bought bunches of water bottles and then would sell them on the streets for $1 or $2, and then after a couple of days she ended up getting the money. So where there's a will, there's a way. Even one of my buddies that ended up making over $100,000 a year with the company, he was negative $200. He was negative $200. So I had what, $400 more than him. He ended up getting a payday loan with like a 20 something percent interest rate. And then his whole life changed. So if you see the vision, don't let the challenge at hand stop you from becoming a part of this. Figure it out. Even if the person that invited you to this call, get back to them and say, "Hey, I don't have the money. Be honest, I don't have the money, but I want to get started. Can we come up with some solutions for me to figure this out?" And so with that being said, this is not just a financial system. Divinfi is a movement towards financial freedom and personal empowerment. So do not miss your chance to be a part of the biggest launch in history. We're literally at ground floor. I mean, we haven't even launched, by the way. We're still getting so many things in place, and we're already in like 8 or 9 countries. So that just goes to show you how fast we're expanding. So just to wrap it all up, we have some awesome, exciting prizes and some promotions. So if you're getting started with us, starting July 1st, this is actually going to be changed from July 1st to September 1st. For the person that gets 10 directs, meaning 10 direct enrollments, you get a free brand new GoPro. If you get 20 direct enrollments, you get an iPhone, brand new iPhone. And then if you get 30 direct enrollments, you get a brand new MacBook. And then we are having a event. It's most likely going to be in Miami, Florida. And for every single person that is a connector 1500, I think that's the fourth rank, you're going to get a 3-day, 2-night stay completely paid for by the company. And if you hit the connector 3000, you get an all-inclusive flight with the hotel and then VIP access to the event. So absolutely amazing. And then if you are part of the membership and you're part of the ecosystem, we are having Transformation Tuesdays and Thursdays. So this will be here in a couple of hours. So 9 p.m. Eastern, we will have Don having his first, not his first, but his the transformation for the new clients. And then on Thursday, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern, we will be having the session for the existing clients to keep themselves at this high level of consciousness. And if you want to stay connected with us, here's our QR code to all of our different social medias. You can stay connected here. So thank you so much for being here. If you stayed until the end of the call, I appreciate you for giving me your attention, and definitely look forward to empowering you into living and being in your most free and expressive self. So thank you so much. Appreciate you all.
Thank you,
Great
Sam.
job, everyone, for sure.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Alrighty, we'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. And if you've not done Dawn's transformation, we'll see you then. Yes, and then the $99 is to all existing members, where you're not going to pay the $149. It's just going to be $99 a month. Okay, so that's awesome. We try to make it as affordable for everyone, because even though $149 is not crazy amount, that's still 50% less. So we wanted to make it like just as accessible for everybody. So yes, super exciting.
Beautiful.
Awesome, guys. Well, we'll see you tomorrow, and have a lovely morning, afternoon, or evening. Peace out.
Thank you.